you know, at this point, it's tough to see. I'm going to just bear with me here. There we go.
Give it a couple of radars. There you go.
There we go. Where you see, I'm going to kind of draw where this tornado could be. This is going to be near Jean Lafitte, just south of Crown Point. If you're in Crown Point, find your safe location. If you're in Alliance and Bayou Cane, you're under this warning here as well. This is moving, let's see, let me get you some information here. This is moving to the east at 55 miles per hour. So this is a very fast moving system. Let me try to do a quick little query and see if I can get you some more timing, some better timings. I might have to just, yeah, this is moving so fast that it's going to move off my screen. I might have to, there we go. So heading towards Jesuit Bend at 1:56. So in about 5 minutes, and you can see there's Shell Beach, of course, out of that polygon, but you can see just how fast it's moving that in about in half an hour, it would make its way off towards the east there, close to Shell Beach. That's just how fast that system is moving. And we know that the southern side of this line is moving a lot faster than the northern side here. Let me go back to the radar. But again, this tornado warning there just near Jean Lafitte. And if you're in Crown Point, if you're in Jesuit Bend, Bayou Cane, find your safe place. This is moving rather quickly here. Let me get you a little more information. Let me go back to the velocity. Bear with me here. I'm trying to change radar. There we go. That's a pretty strong couplet here, stronger than we've seen earlier tonight. So near Barataria, and it looks like it's moving again to the east rather quickly. We'll get a new scan here pretty soon, and you'll see it. There we go. It's moved to the east, and actually, it looks like it's kind of broken up. I'm not seeing that tight rotation that I was seeing earlier, which is good news. But what I am seeing, you can see they're just east of Jean Lafitte. We've got those really strong winds. Let me do a quick little query here and see what kind of winds we're looking at. 30 miles per hour, 40 miles per hour. So these winds aren't the strongest that we've seen, although I want to caution that this particular radar product is a little farther from, the radar beam is probably reading the tops of the clouds here. So we may not be getting all the strongest winds that are close to the surface. There's another scan with another velocity couplet, again, just east of Jean Lafitte. I'm going to circle what we're looking at here. When you see these colors that are meshed together, that's showing us basically where that rotation is. And this tornado warning, this is moving to the east, again, at 55 miles per hour. Yep. Heading towards Jesuit Bend. So if you're in that area, if you know anybody in Jesuit Bend and you're watching this right now, give them a call. This is heading fast. So it's going to be, let's see here. Let me see how far.
Very fast mover. I mean, the whole line's been moving at about 30 to 35.
And every other scan, like it's only a couple miles away. That's going to be there within a few minutes.
3.4 miles. So you're
less
looking
than
at
5 minutes.
Yeah, 5.5, 6 minutes. So again, you know, if you're on that area, you know, call somebody, let them know that, hey, get into your safe place. This entire area under a warning. Now, again, I know it's a large area of real estate, but we can actually come down and really show you where we're seeing the potential of a tornado. So we were looking at this earlier, and let's take a look at some of the winds. Can we query some of the winds, Amber? Let's take a look at some of the winds right within the areas of the darkest of green. I mean, 25, 35, up to, you know, some areas 15, 20, 30, 36. And remember, we're shooting a long way away with radars that are well removed from New Orleans. So even though it may not be showing some of those higher wind speeds that we would normally get where the Slidell radar is being moved from Slidell over to Hammond. So right now we're kind of in a hole right now where the Weather Service has all their next rad radars basically covered the entire nation within about 60 miles of each other. But we have to kind of move in from Mobile to the east, Jackson to the north, Lake Charles to the west in a terminal radar at the airport. So it's not normally what you would see in terms of the higher resolution, but nevertheless, this is the actual Mobile radar, and it's picking up pretty well. So this is an area that we're watching right near Crown Point, heading over toward Jesuit Bend. So if you live in Crown Point, Jesuit Bend, you should be in your safe place. Bayou Cane, I would say get into the interior. We're going to see some strong gusty winds moving into your area, and once again, it is moving very quickly. So at this point, it's going to be within the next only couple of minutes. So as it moves eastward, we're going to see a pickup of strong winds and the potential of some wind damage or trees down. So this is going to be a situation that with a warning, a tornado warning in effect, we do have that threat of some of those damaging winds. So once again, Amber, we're looking at this whole area here, and really velocity-wise, that's what we look at. With velocity, we take a look at the winds that come to and from the radar. And any type of signature, like we're seeing some reds and yellows, that would indicate a circulation. And that's why the Weather Service put out the actual warning. And Amber and I were looking at this about 25 minutes ago. It was much farther west, but we were saying that, this thing has the potential of much stronger winds. And yes, they did actually warn it for a tornado warning moving off to the east. So Crown Point, Bayou Cane, if you're in those areas, get into your safe place immediately. Want to mention that on streetwise, we have 3 areas. Almonaster, the exit is closed due to flooding. We have Burdette at Sycamore Street. We have some flooding in that area. And also the 3100 block of Elysian Fields, streetwise is saying that those areas are closed. So Almonaster exit off of I-10 East, Burdette Street at Sycamore in the uptown area, and around Elysian Fields in the 3100 block. So once again, as this moves eastward, we're beginning to see clearing basically west of Bucktown. So let's come out to the west just a little bit, Amber. We can show you that basically Kenner, we're pretty much done with it now. So we talked about Harahan and River Ridge. You're pretty much done with it now. So once this red line and area is east of you, you're done with any threat of tornadoes. This is the main line. This is our wind shift line. This is the instability. Behind it, we're beginning to see a west to northwest wind. Cooler air, more stable air is moving in. It will still be windy. It will still be a little bit on and off rain, blowing light rain at times. But once this line moves east of you, we are in the clear. So on this map, wherever you are, let's come out a little bit more and let's show the whole DMA if we can. That's the area. The DMA is the dominant area that Fox 8 covers. Really, eastern end of Lake Pontchartrain, Metairie, Kenner, almost done, and now we're moving toward the CBD, parts of the West Bank, over to St. Charles Parish, heading eastward down to the area from Chalmette in St. Bernard. Also, we have a little bit more in the northern areas of Terrebonne, Lafourche, and also into Plaquemines Parish. So we are really on the North Shore starting to get rid of these big threats. From Bogalusa, you're pretty much out of the woods now. Covington, you're coming out now. From Mandeville, next few minutes, you're done. Anything west of this line, the tornado watches will be peeled off. East of this line, tornado watches will continue. So as the line passes you, once this heavy rain threat moves away, we're in the clear of any type of tornadic development. So we do have one that we're reporting. Let's come into it, Amber, kind of see what's going on, maybe look back at velocity and see what's happening. So right near areas of Jean Lafitte and Bayou Cane, let's focus in a bit closer here, and we can show you the actual velocity. And you can see, kind of more of a straight line wind area, or maybe some suspect areas here that we're seeing kind of coming together. But Alliance, Jesuit Bend, if you're in these areas, you need to get into your safe place because we are seeing the threat of some of those strong winds and potential tornadic activity moving your way. It's moving quickly at about 35 miles per hour. So if you're about 3 miles away, 35 miles per hour, that's really about 1.5 to 2 minutes. So this is moving quickly. Here are some of the queries coming in with some of the winds, up to 60 to almost 80 mile per hour wind gust. So potential of tornado is definitely there. Wind gust of around 80 could be an EF0, EF1, but certainly it could cause a lot of damage once it moves off to the east over your area. So you can see that movement as we come in time, and it looks like, Amber, maybe getting a little bit stronger, actually.
Yeah.
As you kind of push back and forth, it looks like, we are seeing potential. So earlier, we saw a couple of areas that were suspect before the warning came down, but now we're starting to see some of these areas here with some of those winds that we saw up to 50 to almost 80 miles per hour. So a very strong storm system. If it's not a tornado, it is one that you need to be in a safe place because we will see a lot of damaging wind as well as potential of very heavy downpours. What about hail? Let's go back and see. With tornadoes, you have a lot of updrafts in And, at this point, I'm really not noticing any hail, but I was wondering around that tornado warning if we were seeing any hail. But, at this point, I just don't see it. And that's the hail tracker for Mobile?
This is Mobile, correct?
Mobile, okay.
Yep.
So good news there. So the updraft's not tall enough to bring in the threat of a lot of hail. But we're certainly seeing in this region the potential of those strong gusty winds moving in from Bayou Cane eastward. So remember, we were talking about Jean Lafitte, Crown Point. In those areas, you're a safe place. You're in the clear. Jean Lafitte, Crown Point, you're clear. Bayou Cane, another 5 minutes, you'll be clear. This is all moving eastward now into a rural area coming in throughout the lower parts of St. Jefferson Parish, heading over toward Delacroix. So again, as it moves eastward, we're still seeing some of those heavy rainfall amounts and strong gusty winds from Concession down to Bayou Cane. So we have a lot going on here. We have several severe thunderstorm warnings. We also have a tornado warning in effect. We've got some flood warnings going on. So all parameters of severe weather that we've been advertising of flash flooding, tornadic development, strong thunderstorms, right now on the map, every parameter we're seeing. Now, this is a new update for a tornado. Now, they may be extending the one that we're seeing. They may be issuing a new one. So, Amber, I'm going to let you take it away and see what you're getting. So, it takes a second to populate on our area, but we get the initial warning that we do see a potential tornado. So, I don't know if it's extended. What's that?
They canceled Jefferson out of it.
Okay, so Jefferson, Zach Fernella's in the back, Amber Wheeler, Bruce Katz here. They have canceled Jefferson on that warning.
You can see the polygon change.
Yeah, you can see the polygon change. Yeah. So, it is a bit basically farther off to the east now and south. So, Carlisle heading over toward Delacroix, that's going to be next in line near Belle Chase. Some strong storms to your south. So we've got tornado warning in this area. Also, for parts of the city and the downtown and the metro, it is falling like cats and dogs over the metro area and parts of the CBD. So mid-city and uptown, where we are at Fox 8, we're beginning to see that clearing in this region here. But if you live east of that area, heading in toward Miro and Violet and Chalmette, heavy rain moving in your vicinity right now. You will see those downpours. You will see those strong gusty winds, but however, it is moving quickly. So once it moves through, we're pretty much done. So as we back on out again, let's take a look at the DMA, the whole area here at Fox 8. So anywhere west of this big line of storms, tornado threat is over. So even though we're still seeing a watch, they're going to have to start peeling back some of the actual parishes themselves. So we're not under this until 7 a.m. They're under it way to the east near Panama City and Destin till 7 a.m. The threat of tornadoes for us will be over between 2:30 and about 4 o'clock. So 2:30 basically for Louisiana, 3:30 to 4 along the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and after that, we are done. So any area, if you live west of this line, tornado warning, done. You can go to bed. You don't have to worry about it. To the east of it, you may want to stay up with us a little bit longer just to get that line through. Once that red area, the heaviest storms move away, you'll be in the clear too. Bogalusa, you're clear right now. Covington, Mandeville, you're basically clear. So east of those areas near Slidell, you're still under the gun. Could we get a spin up in Slidell? We could. So Slidell, just asking you, just kind of stick with us for another 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes. Let's get the line through. We'll let you know what's happening in the event that they do pop a warning on us. And then farther south, basically Metairie and Kenner, Harahan River Ridge, you're pretty much done with it as we speak. But as you move eastward toward the CBD, New Orleans east, the Bywater, heading east toward Violet, Chalmette, into St. Bernard Parish, you still have all the rain to go, probably another 15 to 20 minutes, and then farther south, near Port Sulphur, all that rain continues to move in. So, I mean, Amber, we've got everything. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings, we've got a tornado warning, we've got flash flood warnings, and street flood advisories. I mean, I don't know how many more warnings and advisories we could get where this was a very well advertised severe weather outbreak.
Well, the good news is, too, that the storm over Slidell has become less organized, and so the Weather Service dropped that, let that one cancel, that severe thunderstorm warning. So Slidell not under the severe thunderstorm warning
Perfect.
anymore. Also, let's see here. I'm going to get rid of this. I just got a report in moments ago. Let me pull it back up here for you. I'm just doing this in real time of a damage on Highway 36 near we know we have a lot of saturated ground on the North Shore. We saw rain earlier today. We're seeing rain, of course, again now. And so we're hearing a lot about trees that are toppling over just due to just the really saturated ground. And as you can see, there are just all this rain added to that.
Well, we just got a report coming in. Chris Finch, one of our big producers here, he was saying 5,000 in Orleans Parish now without power. So we have a lot of outages in Orleans. Jefferson, we're looking at about 1,000. So in the major metro area, we're looking at about 6,000 out of power. And, you know, we talked about that. That's why we're saying scan this QR code. If you're east of this line and it's moving in, this QR code is the Fox 8 weather app. All you have to do is download it. Go on the settings, turn on notifications, and when you have it, if your power goes out, you will be able to watch us live. You can scroll down on the app, you'll see live, and you'll be able to watch Zach, Amber, myself. We're all getting this information for you to let you know what's going on in the event. So, latest report, 5,000 power outages in the city of New Orleans, in Orleans Parish, and 1,000 in Jefferson Parish. Now, Energy is going to have to wait for this to move on out before they can get on those poles. And if the winds continue up to 35 or greater, their threshold is at 35, they're not safe enough to go up on the poles and do a lot of fixing. So again, we may be without power in some areas for a little bit of an extended time, even though the storms pass. If we get those strong winds and they're gusting to 35 or so, bucket trucks, it's just not safe for those linemen. Hey, we appreciate the linemen and what they do to get our power back on, but also we want them to be safe as well. So, Gentilly, you're done with it now. Again, Metairie and Kenner, Harahan, River Ridge, over to Marrero, you're done. Anywhere again west of this line, all potential tornadic development is over. To the east of this line, you still have a threat. We could easily see tornadoes popping, potential from Michoud down to Belle Chase, near Violet, all this storm activity moving east towards Shell Beach and Hopedale, down to Delacroix, Alliance, and Phoenix, Devant. So as that storm system moves eastward, we are seeing some of these stronger pockets of very strong storms. In fact, looks like Amber, it looks like they dropped that tornado watch.
They just canceled it.
Yeah, they just canceled it. So, yeah, so I mean the tornado warning. So the tornado warning, that pink box, is basically gone. So obviously the storm has weakened just a little bit, but that's a perfect example. I mean, you could see a quick spin up along this line at any point in time. That's why we're saying, if you're with us in Slidell, Eden Isles, to the Wrigley's, over toward Lake Catherine, Chef Mentor, to the New Orleans East area, heading in eastern areas from Verret, also down to Belle Chase, Bayou Cane, also into St. Bernard Parish. You're coming into Violet. You're coming into areas of Chalmette. Heavy rainfall, we could see the threat of a gradual spin up in these areas. So just kind of stay with us for the next 15 to 20 minutes. We'll let you know what's going on. And as mentioned, with 5,000 outages in Orleans, hopefully you're watching us on your app or your phone. And we have mentioned that you can download the weather app and watch us live on your device, even though your power's out. So that's why it's so important. I mean, we'd like you to have our app, but it's really there for a purpose. It's to keep you safe and to keep you updated as well in the event power outages happen, because with storm systems, we all know around here, power goes out with just a blink.
56 miles per hour wind gusts at Belle Chase.
All right, so Belle Chase, Zach Fidel is saying that 56 mile per hour wind, and I mean, look at this, Amber. I mean, almost right on cue, right? Look at that system moving in. This is an area we were watching for that tornado warning. So let's stop it here. Let's look at some velocity and kind of see as we move into Poydras. Now we're moving into St. Bernard Parish. Look at Violet as well. So very strong winds near Violet and Poydras. Some of these winds likely up to 15 to 30 miles per hour on the western flank, up to 65 to near 70. So again, this is a very strong wind field that we're watching. Tall Timbers, Timberlane on the west bank, you're seeing these very strong gusty winds from Belle Chase, Concession, down to Bayou Cane. We're talking 55 to 60, up to 70 mile per hour winds. And as this whole area moves eastward, these winds are going to start spreading eastward toward Verret, Reggio, Wood Lake, down to Delacroix, and Shell Beach. So as mentioned, if you're east of this area, I'd like you to stay with us for just a few more minutes. We're going to keep you updated on this line. Once this line moves east of the Mississippi Gulf Coast, we're going to call it quits, but nevertheless, we're still seeing some of this extreme weather over parts of the city, heading eastward into St. Bernard Parish, down to Belchase and Timberlane. So this is really the West Bank, Marrero, Harvey. We're seeing all these storms moving away, and it's moving at a clip at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So farther south near Lafitte, the line moving eastward. Pointe-a-la-Hache, you're not in it yet. Port Sulphur, you're not in it yet. Golden Meadow, you're just beginning to come out of it at this point. So once again, as these storms move eastward, they're moving fast enough where we may get a burst of rain, you may get some minor flooding, but it's at least not training and coming over the same area. So Amber, what you got here?
We're looking at some rotation here.
Okay.
It looks like it might be over the marsh area there. Actually, let's see here, just south of Phoenix. You see where sort of the greens and reds are meeting?
Yeah, you're right on the border of Jefferson and Plaquemine. So, I mean, that really is a very marsh area. But hey, I mean, you know, tornado's a tornado.
That's what we want.
Devant, you know, Port-a-la-Hache.
Cross Highway 23.
Yeah. So down there's no warning at this point, but, you know, that's a hotspot area that we're watching that, as mentioned, anytime along this line, we could certainly see tornado warnings that pop up. So spin-ups can happen very quickly. You can get a big burst of wind. You can get a lot of rainfall. And again, we have numerous reports of flash flood warnings. We have a couple of areas that are closed, and I'll go back over them for you. Coming into Streetwise, I-10 East at the Almanaster exit, it is closed. We have Burdett at Sycamore, Uptown. We have some flooding reported there. And Elysian Fields, the 3100 block, a little bit of flooding too. Now, in those areas that are under Streetwise, we are beginning to see the rain moving out. So hopefully some of those streets that were closed will not be closed by the morning drive. In fact, we've been talking about this, that the tornado watch will be peeled away from us more than likely between 2:30 and 3:30 in the morning. So in the next hour to an hour and a half, everything to the west of us, we'll start seeing those drops in the tornado watches, and by daybreak, we will be likely not under any watches at all. We will still be windy, we'll be cloudy, but in the morning, you're going to need a coat and a sweater. We're going to see temperatures drop back into the 40s, where right now we're in the 70s. We're going to see 40s come back north, 50 south, and we're going to struggle to be in the upper 40s to low 50s all day long tomorrow. And on top of that, a very strong wind. The wind advisory is going to be in effect through 6 p.m. tonight, being Tuesday night. So again, we're now not focusing on Monday. We are at 2:13 in the morning on Tuesday. So we're going to see that wind advisory through tonight at 6 p.m. So windy and colder weather moving in behind this system. So once we get beyond this point, things will begin to settle down easily for the morning drive. In fact, the North Shore, Amber, I mean, in the next, 15, 20 minutes, North Shore totally finished with that. Now, we will see some of the lingering flash flood warnings or street flood advisories, but even with those, with the rain moving away, likely in the next 30, 45 minutes, those will more than likely be dropped as well. So things are slowly but surely improving. North Shore areas, the line is moving further east with that axis, so the axis is kind of tilted and shifted a bit farther east, where southwestern flank is a bit farther west. So kind of taking that tilt, North Shore clearing out a little bit faster than the South Shore. However, I'm not complaining about it because the line is moving, and again, we're not seeing that training effect going on. So Chalmette, if you live around St. Bernard Parish, down toward northern areas of Plaquemines Parish, eventually down to central Plaquemines, all these lines of storms moving your way. Metro area, we're pretty much done with the severe threat in terms of tornadoes, and Gulfport, Biloxi, over to Bay St. Louis, you still have some time where these storms are going to move into your area. So once again, Amber, I'm going to let you kind of drive a bit and, take it over. Right now, again, tornado warnings have basically been dropped at this point. We're under severe thunderstorm warnings, but as we go by, really minute by minute, 5 minutes at a time, these increments, it's getting better and better as these storms begin to move off to the east.
Absolutely. And, you know, these storms are headed towards the radar. So we're getting a clear picture. So the fact that we're seeing some of these storms start to break up, we're losing the severe thunderstorm warnings there, especially there for St. Tammany Parish and the Slidell area. That's good news. Still seeing, of course, these flash flood warnings for the North Shore. But as Bruce said, you know, these are going to slowly kind of trickle off here. But it does show you just how much rain that we've seen that's fallen just today. We saw a lot of the rain that fell earlier today on the North Shore. We already have, of course, a very saturated ground there. That's why we have that area under a flash flood warning. And I do have a new severe thunderstorm warning. It's actually been updated to just include all of Plaquemines Parish there. So down the mouth of the river. So those in Venice, anybody in Empire, Boothville, probably getting a warning on their phones right now. And it's just, of course, taking into account that sort of eastward movement of that line that's already moving through Golden Meadow, headed for Grand Isle. Folks in Grand Isle just got their phones going off, and this is moving to the east at a pretty fast clip. It's moving at about 45 miles per hour. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stop this, and keep in mind that this is, if you're looking down towards the Golden Meadow area into Grand Isle, the radar beam is reading the tops of the storms. I really believe that those storms are very strong down towards that are heading into Grand Isle. And so does the Weather Service. That's why they've included you into their polygon there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a quick little query to see how long it's going to take to get to some of these areas, to get to, say, Port Sulphur here. Again, moving at a fast clip, which is good news. There's 45 miles per hour. So it will head into Point of Lahash at 2:26, so at about 10 minutes. Hopedale just after that at 2:29. Port Sulphur, you're looking at another, say, 20 minutes or so. So again, moving very fast here, and I'm getting new updates. It looks like these warnings are getting extended. Yep, the warning there off towards East St. Bernard Parish, that is including, let me clear out these warnings here. That's going to include the Lake Catherine area. Those just got extended to the east. Let me turn back my warnings. Again, if you're in Slidell, you're not under the warnings anymore, but folks to the east, let me dive down here and give you some areas here. The Wrigley's, anybody around the Lake Catherine area, the Chef Mentor, the storms, the strongest of the storms, the heaviest of the rain moving over that neck of the woods. If you're in Shell Beach and Hopedale, the rain is headed in your direction. Violet, just give it a few more minutes here. I'd say about 5 minutes, and you should be in the clear from the strongest of these storms. Delacroix, you're also in this severe thunderstorm warning. The heaviest of the storm just to the west of you. I'd give it less than 5 minutes, and it'll be in your neck of the woods. Alliance, you're almost in the clear here. Phoenix, also seeing very heavy rain. Davant and Point of Lahash, Port Sulphur, again, you're about to see the heaviest of this storm in anywhere between 5 and 10, 20 minutes, I think, in Port Sulphur. Behind this line, of course, we do have that tornado watch, but if you're behind this line, you're in the clear from tornadoes tonight. So if you're watching us from New Orleans right now, you're pretty much, unless you're in New Orleans east, it looks like even there, actually, the rain is actually to the east towards Chef Mentor, the heaviest. If you're in New Orleans, you are in the clear from the tornado watch, even though you're under the box. We do not have the parameters behind this line to see any kind of rotation that would give you tornadoes. If you're in Belle Chase, you're heading in the clear as well. Bayou Cane, Carlisle, you're almost in the clear. I'm going to keep going down the line here. Point of Lahash headed for you again. If you're in Grand Isle, I do believe those storms to the west of you and to the northwest of you that are heading in your direction are going to be rather strong. So folks in Buras and Venice, this is all heading in your direction, but certainly going to be a while before it does get to you. Let's head to the north here. You'll see Bay St. Louis and the Kill. The strongest of these storms headed towards you, but they're not considered severe. So these are having less than severe level wind gusts, still very gusty, but definitely not seeing those damaging wind gusts that we were seeing earlier. Folks in Poplarville, you're clear. Of course, Bush, Picayune, also in the clear. The rain just slowed down in Picayune. This is heading deeper into the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And folks in Bay St. Louis, just now starting to see that light rain. You'll see the heavier rain here pretty soon.
So let's pick up here. I've got some information for you. And here's what we're looking at now. Latest information on the energy map, about 3,900 customers are without power, 900 in Mid-City, 600 in Lakeview, and over in Destrehan, about 900. So we're looking at, several thousand without power north and south shore. So once again, if you're without power, it may take a little time because energy with the winds of 35 or greater, they cannot get in those bucket trucks. So just be patient. And again, hopefully that power will come back on. I mean, fortunately, the temperatures, although they warmed up, it's at least comfortable in the homes if we don't have the power. But nevertheless, 3,900 power without power in the 7th Ward, Desire in Florida neighborhoods, 900 in Mid-City, 600 in Lakeview, 900 in Destrehan. So once again, we're looking at that. And I misspoke earlier. The only underpass that is closed right now is the Marconi underpass where we had some flooding. Other than that, all streets are open and we don't have any major issues. So Zach, what you got?
I just wanted to show how conditions have improved dramatically over the city right now. So hopefully we can get those power outages fixed in the next year while it's still very gusty outside, but the bad weather has moved out of the metro area.
And we're seeing a lot of lightning out there, Zach, but also we're seeing a lot of lights on in the city. So that is a good thing looking back toward the CBD. So, as Amber and I have been mentioning and following this for you throughout the evening, the line has behaved itself. It really slowed down around Baton Rouge. Had us a bit nervous because when you get that slowdown, you can get training. And training around here is never a good thing if you get storms over the same area. But we are now finally seeing a push with a major upper system pulling out, and that's forcing this to actually increase in speed. So the line itself has been picking up speeds to about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So as Amber and I've been mentioning, if you're west of this line, you're done with the tornado watch. Not till 7 a.m. they put the watch out because so far east, I mean, Amber, this is probably one of the longest as far as real estate watch I have seen in a long time. I mean,
Yeah.
We're talking 7 a.m. to Panama City. So when you come back with this line, basically, I would say from southeast Louisiana, about 80% is in the clear. It's not through 7 a.m. I mean, your local time right now is 2:22 in the morning. So by 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, all this is out of here. I mean, that's almost a 400-mile, good job, Amber. That's a 400-mile watch. I mean, that's a huge watch. So to put a timestamp on it, east of us, easily between, say, 5 and 7 o'clock in the morning. But, I mean, this is basically, Tangipahoa Parish, you're done with the rain. I mean, we're talking heading down toward Manchac, you're done with the rain. Also, Terrebonne, Lafourche, you're going to be done with it. I mean, it's pretty much all moving eastward. East of this area, still potential of some spin-ups and some strong gusty winds. Now, the winds behind it will continue because the wind trajectory, and with this storm system, we have a lot of pressure gradients here that indicate strong gusty winds. So it's going to stay windy even behind the line, but it's going to be to the point where it's not severe in terms of tornadic type winds or damaging winds that could cause some major issues. So we could see some gusts up to 35, 40, a power outage or two, but at this point, when the line moves away, we're not going to see those gusts up to 55 or 60 or greater that we've seen throughout the evening. So this system is really beginning to clear out now. North Shore, Slidell on the eastern end toward Pearl River, I mean, you're almost done with it. Once it moves in the next 5-10 minutes, basically east of Slidell, the entire North Shore is done. Kentwood, down I-55, along I-12, heading toward Covington to Baton Rouge, all done in terms of a severe weather threat. So at this time, those areas west, it's over. I know it's been a long day. And, we've been touting this for days and days. And, we don't hype stuff here at Fox 8. We kind of tell it like it is. And if it's bad, we're going to amp it up. If it's not, we're going to let you know that as well. So certainly this has been kind of a situation that we saw three systems. We saw rain on Wednesday morning. We saw stronger storms on Friday evening. The weekend was nice. And then today, of the three, we expected to be the strongest and the most severe. And indeed, it came to fruition. The Storm Prediction Center, 5, 6, 7 days out, was highlighting this area. When they put out a highlight that far out, that means that as the systems come together, we need to pay attention. And indeed, we did see tornado warnings, we did see thunderstorm warnings, we saw flood warnings, we saw flood advisories, so almost every parameter of severe weather did actually occur with this storm system. And finally, we're getting ready to put this thing to bed in the next 30 to 45 minutes. So down to Hopedale, Point Elahash, we're seeing it. Now, Zach is on Viper, and you're probably looking at this area north of Devant and Delacroix. Is that right, Zach?
Yeah, there's
some rotation. If you want to go to MSY, it's just showing up there.
So we're using all the different radars here. We're looking at some velocity. So yeah, I mean, Port Elahash, that area there, that's actually the couplet, Amber, we've been kind of watching, right?
We've been following that rotation for a while.
Yeah. And there's no warning on it in terms of tornado warning, but, again, if you're down, we're going to tell you this, if you're down toward Devant, Point Elahash, Bohemian, those areas, I would get to an area closer in. I mean, I know we're in the marshy areas coming in to Plaquemines Parish. However, Point Elahash, we have some homes and camps and fishing camps and hunting camps down here. So if you're in this area now, I would kind of get into your safe place coming in. Now, here's the Mississippi River, of course, so it comes right along the river, that very strong wind, but still, at this point, we are not looking at any tornado warnings. Now, there are severe thunderstorm warnings as the line moves in. However, guys, that looks pretty ominous.
Once it crosses Highway 23, it's going to be done. It's going to be moving in the marsh.
Into the marsh areas.
Offshore. It's not
Right.
going to move north towards St. Bernard.
No, this is going to be, basically a Point Elahash, Bohemian, once it moves, it's basically moving like this. So as Zach was mentioning, it's not going to affect any areas north. It's really moving into the extreme marsh areas as we hit the eastern side into the Gulf of Mexico. So, this is kind of a last gasp of land for this storm from Devant down to Point Elahash. As it moves eastward, it's really kind of the last oomph, because it's going to move into the marsh area where, basically it's more wildlife, and that's pretty much it. So it's not a highly populated area. We're not going to discount Point Elahash, but, again, there are some, camps down there, but it's going to be moving eastward. Shell Beach, Hopedale, some strong gusty winds in these areas as the line moves in, but this is really the area, probably, possibly a waterspout turning into that point as it moves off to the east toward the Gulf of Mexico. But Point Elahash right now, you're likely seeing some strong gusty winds in those areas, but it is moving quickly, and once it moves east of you in the next 5-10 minutes, basically, it's going to be moving eastward. Boy, it's been a long night. It's going to move into the Gulf of Mexico and, finally done. I'm smiling because, again, the storm is moving eastward, and we're not seeing the training. We're not seeing the flood potential that we were seeing the potential of. So, yes, although we have flood warnings in areas and severe thunderstorm warnings, that's what we're looking at. But take a look at this. We're now at 55 on the dew point. We were near 70 about 30 minutes ago. So what that tells us is, as that dry air pushes in, it's much more stable air. So areas of green here, what we're seeing is a lot of moisture. Right now we're at 59. Amber, what were we last hour?
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, she's looking at it. So when we talked about the front moving in and the wind shift, we were saying about a 10 to 15 degree drop in the temperature. So right now we're at 59 degrees. Alexandria is 49 degrees.
We were at 73 an hour ago.
Okay, so 59, 69, so almost 15 degree drop in the last hour. So we talked about once that system moves in, we're going to see a big drop in temperatures. That happened. Strong west to northwest winds. It's happening now. So as this front moves eastward, that dry air quickly moves in. The dew point, Amber, what was the dew point last hour?
Dew points last hour we hit 70.
And we're at 59 now.
We're at 52 now for a dew point.
50, what a huge, that's 18 degree drop on the dew point. Dew point, measure of moisture in the atmosphere. So when you get down to drier conditions with lower dew point numbers, there's no way you can get more rain. There's no way you can get more severe weather. It's more stable air, albeit cloudy, albeit windy. You're not going to see any severe weather. So as mentioned, east of this line, severe weather threat continues. If you are west of this line, we are done with any tornado watches. And again, personally, I can't go peel them off. Let's take a look at the actual watch map, Amber, if we can. Let's pull up the tornado watch map on Max, and we can see. Baton Rouge was cleared, but I want to see how much is cleared now. So, I mean, look at this here. So Washington Parish is now clear. Tangipahoa Parish is clear. So as we've been mentioning, as the line moves eastward, we're going to start peeling off some of these watches. Now, remember, 7 a.m., that was far east near Panama City. We expected between 2 and 4 all areas to be dropped, and that's exactly right on line with what we're thinking. So down toward Terrebonne and Lafourche, probably in the next 15 to 30 minutes, you'll be dropped. In the next 30 to 45 minutes, the city will be dropped. And then in the next hour to an hour and a half, Biloxi, you'll be dropped. So again, this entire area during the 10 o'clock newscast was under a watch. Look at the areas now that have been peeled back. So we are slowly but surely taking that threat farther east, and that line continues to move away. So let's come back to Viper real quick again, Amber. And boy, like you, we're ready to put this thing to bed and go to bed because it's been a long day.
I do have a report here that just came in 1 minute ago. I've got reports of flash flooding on the North Shore lane and grounds at and around North Shore High School.
Okay.
So that's in St. Tammany Parish.
All right. Well, again, that should...
In Slidell.
In Slidell. So let's come into Slidell. You know, we talked about Slidell was kind of the last big city toward Pearl River that's going to get it. And as we come in a little bit closer, Amber's going to do a zoom for us. You can see around Slidell, I mean, some of this really heavy rainfall. Now, in Slidell proper, it's dry. Now, southeastern areas, we have moderate rain to heavy rain. Pearl River, the same, moving eastward. So whatever flooding we're seeing in these areas, the worst of it is going to end in the next few minutes. And then it's just going to take a little time for all this, water to start heading on down. So at this time, we are still seeing on the eastern and southern end of Slidell, heavy rainfall, Pearl River, some heavy rain, Bay St. Louis, pretty much the same, heavy rainfall. But once again, as we take a look, here's I-59, here's I-12. The activity is moving east of the 5912 intersection, and it's moving basically into Pearl River County, heading over eastward, down south toward Bay St. Louis, and heading over toward Gulfport. So we are really starting to clear out southeast Louisiana now. Let's come down the line, Amber, if we can. Gentilly, Marrero, all that is clear. Belle Chase, you're in the clear right now. Poydras and Violet, Chalmette, you still have another 10 to 15 minutes, but storms are behaving themselves. I'm very confident that it's going to be just gusty, heavy rainfall. It is moving. Delacroix, you'll be out of it in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Phoenix, you're pretty much done. Pointe-a-la-Hache, 10, 15 minutes, you'll be done. Now, we do have Port Sulphur, a little more to go, but on the southern end, maybe not quite as strong, but we have seen some of those strong gusty winds. So likely down toward Port Sulphur on the central part of Plaquemines Parish, you will likely see some of those strong gusty winds. Grand Isle, you're still seeing some heavy rainfall potential there for some gusty winds.